Hey, it's Matt with Mind Move Manifest, and I want to talk a little bit today about why we allow the gap to exist between what it is that we want and where we're currently at. Because that gap, as it exists and it stays in place, the longer it exists, the more painful it is. And why is it that we do that? It comes down to one simple thing: it's programming. Programming that's inside of us, and it's in the form of a more familiar word called belief. And what we believe is possible for us, what we believe is possible for our family, what we believe is possible for us and our community, how we feel about ourselves. And here's the big takeaway from it. And also, what we're going to cover is how to get past that, how to start moving toward what you want now. The big takeaway is that you absolutely get to decide what's possible for you. And as a matter of fact, as you decide what's possible for you, that's how your world shows up. So if you don't think it's possible for you to go after your dream for whatever reason it is that you put in place, then that becomes your reality. But here's the other part of that: you don't get to decide what's possible for humans. We only have two sources of reference in terms of what we feel, what we understand humans are capable of, and that's science and theology. And both of those come to the same conclusion. They don't know. The only conclusion they can come to is that we are infinitely capable. There's no limit on what we can actually do out there in the world. So that's fact. That's what we have in our hands. If you listen to Jesus talk about this stuff, we think about what Jesus was capable of. We think that that's so amazing, but Jesus said that all of these things and more you can do too, to paraphrase. So, with that being said, any limitation beyond that and why we don't go after what it is that we want is placed upon ourselves. You realize that it's self-imposed. Why do we allow, in that worded, that phraseology right there, whatever you want to call it, in the phrasing that we're using, in the language that we're using, we're actually the ones that are allowing that gap to exist. So once you take that on, you realize that it's only between you and you in terms of what it is that you want to do. So how do we move past that and understand how to move forward? Well, we do that with a decision. And the decision is that we're going to go after what it is that we want. And in order to first make that decision, we have to decide what that is. So very easily, in order to change your life right here and right now and start living a life that brings you much more happiness and joy, you can take on the task of getting clear of what it is that you want. You ask yourself some simple questions. Something like, if today was my last day here on earth, what is it that I would feel most regret about that I didn't accomplish in my life? You can ask yourself questions like, if I'm sitting at the end of this year, whatever year we're in right now, and I've just had the most successful year of my life, what are the things that I'm talking about that I've done? What is it that happened for me? Start to ask yourself questions outside of the box that way. What is it that you really, really want to do? And once you decide on what that thing is, you can make the decision to start moving toward it now, because you are infinitely capable. And all you have to do is learn how to produce the answers for solving the problems and solving the challenges to reach that goal. But here's the key: the goal never was the end game. That was not the happiness. We get mixed up with that. The goal is not the happiness for what it is that you want. It's you actually on the path of achieving that goal and becoming that person. Earl Nightingale said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." And in that quote, he doesn't say success is having something, a particular material thing or money. That's not what success is. Success is progressively realizing that you're getting to a place that you want to be. So you can never have the success that you want if you don't have the place that you want to find out. And that's your first step in achieving the happiness and the joy and the fulfilling life that you want.